information, some very clean stuff was given, so I want to cover everything. Okay, so we'll start off here on the daily, just seeing what's going on in current PA, what's going on the left-hand side here. We can use, I don't usually use the daily, but we'll just do it so we can get like a close-up of what's going on. So last week, you can see price went bullish, came back to the lows, respected the lows for a bit, and printed this inducement high for us. So right away, my eyes are glued to that. Cool. Now, after following that day here on Monday, when we printed that inducement high, Tuesday, sold off aggressively, sweeping that liquidity here, and also grabbing this low to the left. Okay, perfect. Okay, go to the 4 hour over here. So now you can kind of see it a little more clear here, right? Respecting that low over here, printing that high in the market, and then selling off aggressively. And then going into, go to 15 so we can see this PA a little better. Okay, cool. So today's Wednesday, and that is, this is the price action I'm going to break down today. But looking at Tuesday yesterday, New York sold off and took this low from the left-hand side, this line here. Okay, printed that low at New York Open. New York Open pushed price up, printing this high, inducing buyers, right? Trapped them at the low, and then swept the liquidity there. So what do I see right away? Well, we've taken this low, which means now sellers are induced in the market. They will be selling at this high here. Okay, I am interested in price above it. Okay, simple as that. We want to look for price above that, and then we'll look for sell opportunities. Okay, so New York Open is 8 a.m. So right now we're in London. Look how price has wicked at the high, rejected. Okay, we're building liquidity at the highs now. Okay, here now we have finally stabbed above it just before New York Open. Let's go into the 5-minute. Even the one, I want to look a little more. There we go. Okay, so right at 7:24, 45 minutes before New York Open, stabbed above it. Okay, took out the highs to the left, and then broke down. Price retraced back to the extreme, and had mitigation up here. Nothing I like too much so far. As for entries, maybe one at the extreme here. Nothing I like personally. Anything up here would be a little more risky, right? Because not really an entry model as well. I would have liked to see price respect this, print the high, right? And then something like that. Didn't get that, so price just retraced the extreme, mitigation there, sold off. Now we're just simply looking for some sort of entry. So right in New York Open, look what we did. Respected this area over here, okay? And we even sold off and took this low here. What does that now tell me? Again, sellers are in the market. Okay. They're possibly going to be selling from this area or maybe this little wick to the left. I'm interested in selling above that. Okay. You can also say that this is inducement high here. Okay. Price reacted out this area, printed the high, took this area here to the left, mitigated the imbalance, and then leaving this inducement high. So you have a couple confluences as to why you want to see price above that. The main reason is because sellers have been induced there. So lots of liquidity is going to be tucked above that. Okay. Price retraces back. Look how we reject off that temporarily. Imagine how many sellers are going to be taking that trade there, right? Still respecting it. Finally, we wick above. Liquidity has been taken. How can we be involved in this trade now? Okay, now we had a closure below the wick here. So one way of taking the trade is you can wait for price to come back and retest that and then go short. Or since we've now shown a closure below, you can take that with your stop tucked above. Okay. Those are the two ways of probably taking this trade here. Another possible way would have been You can see technically this area here is a liquidity block. Maybe something on the 32nd. I don't use the 32nd, so I'm just showing you guys what was maybe possible. I know some of you guys do. But yeah, that's basically it to the left-hand side. No other entries really given to the left here, just this. But again, look how we get a nice reaction when we run that liquidity, that bearish closure back below that previous candle as well, leaving us a nice liquidity block. So again, you can take it on the close or you can take it on the retest. I think on this one, yeah, we would have failed to get tapped in on the retest. As for targets, okay, from this low to where we ran that liquidity there, that essentially is like our range here, right? So from this low to this high, meaning now buyers see this high getting taken as a break of structure, so they'll be buying down here. They'll be interested in buying over here. But if we understand that, then we know there is a bunch of liquidity essentially tucked below this low, right? So we can just make this horizontal. What other targets do we have? Well, we have equals left here, also known as inducement low for us. So another good confluence to take your trade to this area. Okay, so we'll just use this. Gorgeous target for us. Let's see what happens. Okay, so now I believe we had news as well. Continue selling off. Now we're reacting at these areas of the low, inducing buyers, right? Still reacting at the low. Okay, now I believe, yeah, we have news at 10 a.m. So I'll mark that here. So now, essentially, you'd want to wait for news to get dropped, right? The market is not going to move until news is released now. So it's going to screw around, maybe build more liquidity, and essentially wait for that time. Okay? Boom. Just like that. As for entries, maybe another cheeky one here. Okay, we take that low, sellers induced, take that high, and we sell off, right? And where do we sell off to? We take that inducement low, and we also take out the structural point over here. What does that now tell me? Well, that now tells me that anyone buying from this area over here or buying from this area over here, they have now been trapped, and we've now taken liquidity, okay? What do we also have? Well, we have an inducement high here, okay? So let's see what price gives us. Actually, I did use the 3-minute. Okay, stab below, right? This big bearish closure stabs below, grabs all that liquidity. Now we're starting to get that reaction to the upside. Look how we pull back to this area here, right? Previous support turning into resistance. Sellers are going to be interested in selling from this area. We are going to be buying into that, okay? Nice liquidity block. Also left a low there, right on top of it. Take it like this. And okay, so how do we approach this now? So what I did was I put my tool on. I saw that it was a 1 to 2.6. Am I interested in taking trades like this? Not all the time. I don't mind if my RR is like this, but it's also not my favorite. So like I've told you guys in the past, get greedy with your entry a little bit in order for that RR to make sense, and then it essentially follows your plan. Okay, so for me, I saw this low here, and honestly, nothing really confluenced as to why I wanted this low taken, but this is just what I wanted priced below in order for me to take my entry, so the RR would make sense. Okay, and let's just say, hypothetically speaking, it doesn't come here, take this low, so it goes maybe mitigates that 3-minute liquidity block and then leaves. It's all good. I wasn't included in the trade, and it is what it is. On to the next one. Okay, so here now it has tapped the 3-minute area. Now it has came all the way to the extreme. So you can see I got luckier with this one, right? Because I got picky with my entry. And then we actually screwed around here for quite a while. And remember, what's this high here? Liquidity, okay? Sellers, we're selling from this area here, so you want to see price above that. Okay, look how we're respecting that area, inducing sellers here, building liquidity, and boom, took that high. Okay, now we'll see what price is doing live. I am still holding positions up to here and up to here. Okay, and then because of our higher time frame, I will probably hold partials to here. Okay. Am I going to hold full volume here? No, doesn't make sense. After we take some sort of highs over here, I will be partialing out accordingly and paying myself, right? So this is what we look like right now on the daily. Look how today we spiked below yesterday's low, right? Which is this guy here. So look how we spiked below that low and we've reversed ever since, right? We have a daily imbalance that we could possibly get reactions off of over there, okay? So possibly get some sort of reactions. I don't know what could happen, but top there and then maybe go long again. So something to keep an eye on. Also, an area that smart money is going to be interested in selling from. So we could get some sort of reactions, but overall, I do want the inducement high taken. Okay, 1.0808. That's what I got my eyes on. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this case study, and I will see you guys in the next one.